Okay. Uh, Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. We are talking about continuing Tubi Horror Weekend 5. Those of you might wonder, isn't that 2? No, yeah, I'm doing a. This would be 2, right? This is 2. This is a Roman numeral 5. It's a V. That's why I stretched it out like this to the point my fingers are hurting. This would be 2, right? V for 5. 5. Right? So, we are talking about the movie May 2002, starring Angela Bettis, who you may know from the Carrie remake, Jeremy Sisto, who you may know from Wrong Turn, or a movie I know called Now You Know, directed by Jeff Anderson, and then also Anna Faris is in this from Scary Movie, and then James Duval has a cameo later as a guy who likes jujubes. I don't know why his character's in this movie. This is a weird fucking movie. This is weird. I would judge to say that 90% of this movie is not even, I wouldn't say is horror. It seems more like a coming of age story for a young woman who was sort of closeted her entire life and doesn't have all these experiences, and now is finally getting out there and doing her own thing, and it's kind of those kind of experiences. And then more that hints at stuff. It's at the end of the movie that shit really hits the fan and it becomes a horror movie. I'm sitting through this movie. It's a slow burner. It is a slow burner, I'll tell you that much. You know what I mean? Most of it centers around May, meeting this guy named Adam. She's obsessed with him and his hands, and they sort of have a relationship, but it doesn't work, so she doesn't really work out because she's weird, but a little too weird for his liking. And then she also has this sort of relationship with Polly, who's played by Anna Faris, and that sort of happens, but then Polly's got another on the side girl that's sort of around, and she gets jealous, and there's that. And there's a whole thing with a doll in a box that she was given by her mom that's not called May. I thought the doll would be called May, but it's something else. I don't remember what it was called. She's May. The doll is called Susie. But Wikipedia spells it regular, but according to the subtitles I watched the movie with, it's Soozy. Susie. I don't know. But, yeah, and so there's that plot point where she can't take it out of the box, when it starts cracking, and they kind of drop it, like it's supposed to represent her psyche cracking every bad thing that happens to her, but then there's just a scene with blind kids who want it to come out of the box, and they knock it over, and then, like, they're start palming around for it, and there's just glass all over the floor, and they're cutting their hands. And it's really weird how that whole, you think it would be once they I thought maybe the doll was gonna lead to something, kind of like in an Autopsy of Jane Doe, where I thought the body was gonna lead to something when the body was coming to life, which it sort of does, but the doll doesn't really come to life. Not really. It just sort of is there. The movie starts out weird too, where you see May and she's holding her eye and she's going, she's screaming. It's really jarring. It starts and there's a scream. She's holding her eye, and then it cuts to her as a kid. And her mom is freaked out because she has a lazy eye. Look, let me show you something here. You see that? That there, folks, is a lazy eye. Had it most of my life. My mom even said that she was surprised that the eye doctors didn't correct it. Well, as an adult, I have neglected to go to the eye doctor. I probably need a new prescription on glasses. They would probably need to take a look. And this eye has been a subject of some abuse. Accidental abuse. My friend Eric, I think I told this story, accidentally. So first of all, I fell in the river and lost my glasses. There were rentals anyway, but I lost my glasses. And then my friend Eric accidentally whacked me in the eye with a plastic Halloween axe, which scratched my cornea, and I had to, there's that. And so I had to wait for that to heal. And then my son accidentally whacked me in the face with a Power Ranger. It's a Power Ranger that's about this big, right? It's got a hard plastic head, and the rest is like fabric. And so he's swinging it around, and I told him not to, and my dumbass covers myself in his blanket on his bed, and he swings it again, and it crashes into my face. And so, yes, I've had this lazy eye for a while. But I do this and sort of correct itself. I can't tell it though, because this eye's so bad, everything's even I'm right here, like very close, and it's still blurry. Where here, I can see perfectly, but this is just this eye is just going Google bananas right now because it's bad. But it's not good to have a lazy eye. But her mom makes it out like it's the worst thing in the world, and to fix this, she puts an eye patch over her face, and then it says, "Oh, just put your hair over it." And it's like, no, the lazy eye. To go around with a lazy eye would have been better than for her to wear an eye patch. She grows up, she's kind of introverted, and there's not much with her childhood. They don't really talk about her parents after this either. She gives it this doll. If you can't find friends, you can make your own, and there's this doll, which she still talks to as an adult. And so she meets Jeremy Sisto, and I always say that you can tell when someone doesn't actually smoke in real life. And Jeremy Sisto, at least at this point in his life, absolutely did not smoke. Because the way he's holding it, the way he's moving it around, the way he's smoking it, is just, no, it's not. I don't smoke, but I've been around people who do smoke enough that if you wanted me to play someone who did smoke, I could mimic that perfectly. He obviously had no clue. I mean, towards maybe they started filming, maybe they filmed this in order, because beginning of the movie he's kind of meh, and then later he gets a little bit better, so maybe. And then Angela Bettis, who we know is a smoker in real life, she has to pretend she doesn't know how. And it's even weird that way, where she has to pretend she's holding it like this, but then later in the film as well, she gets better at it, because it's the way it works, but it's kind of awkward, And yeah, and so she's like stalking him. She goes to the laundromat. This is where you can tell it's the early 2000s, because like laundromats still exist now, but I think people use their own washer and dryer. We have a washer and dryer here in my building, so I'll go on a laundromat. I have to go a ways into town to do that, and I don't have to lug my laundry all the way there and all the way back. No, thank you. No, thank you. If I didn't have a laundry machine here, I would probably have to use my mom's laundry machines for washer and dryer, because there's no way I'm gonna, unless she can help me move the stuff. I don't have a car. But anyway, yeah, there was things in movies and TV shows in the 90s and the early 2000s where you see them go to a laundromat, whatever, and do it. My mom used to do that too. At some point, she had to when we lived in the apartments when I was a kid, because her machines would go out. They finally did get machines, but they would go out, and so she'd have to go and do it there. But yeah, and so she meets with Adam. They develop this relationship. He asks if she thinks he's weird. She says, "I do think you're weird, but I liked weird." He shows him this movie that he made about a guy and a girl in love, and they eat each other, and she likes it. But I think it's because she doesn't understand things that when they're making out, she accidentally, I think, bites his lip, and then starts like rubbing his blood all over her. And he's really starting to freak out. And he's like, "No, I gotta go." And then he sees the doll, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go." It's weird. And then he starts to avoid her, and he he hooks up with another girl who is Eden McCain from Heroes. I was like, wait, man, I know her. I don't remember the character's name. I know her. So I looked up the actress. Sure enough, it was her, Eden McCain. Heroes. That's the character's name in Heroes, on Heroes. But yeah, small role for her. But really, she's off screen until the end. They show her. Same thing with Polly's other love interest is that she is off screen for most. Or they show the legs and you can see she's obsessed. It's the hand thing, and then when she says to this Ambrosia, "You have nice gams," and I'm like, okay, I thought about it when she said the hands, but then she said the leg. I'm like, she's gonna try to, because she's a sewer. She works for a veterinarian clinic, and she sews the animals up. And I'm like, she's gonna sew together some kind of Frankenstein monster type thing, right? And sure enough, that's what she ends up doing. But she starts hooking up with Polly after Adam sort of ignores her and doesn't answer her phone calls anymore, and that sort of lesbian-like relationship. And here's the thing: I was a little thrown off when I first see Anna Faris because she has black hair like she did in the first two Scary movies, and I was thrown off, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think. Okay. But this would, because I think Scary Movie 2 came out in 2003. Scary Movie 3, excuse me, came out in 2003. So this was around the time that Scary Movie 2 came out, and the Scary Movie 3 came out the next year, and she was blonde, I guess. I know the first one came out in 2000, so I would think the second one would be 2002. But I swear the third one came out in 2003, 2004. Maybe 2004 makes sense. And then, because they did like The Ring, and the Ring in that one, and The Grudge was in 4. So, yeah. But it threw me off. I was like, oh, I didn't even think that she would still have her black hair. But yeah, it's really weird seeing her like that, knowing now that she's blonde all the time. But it's really weird. But eventually, yeah, May's psyche breaks, and she has enough, and it's Halloween. This happens on Halloween. She has enough. She goes over to Polly's place, and she kills Polly, taking her neck. At one point, she kills her cat by accident by throwing an ashtray at her, which has a name on it, the one the blind kids made. Look, the whole blind kids subplot could be taken out of this. There's a light take out of this, and it'd be like a half hour. We're in the finish line here, right? So, she takes Polly's neck, and then Ambrosia shows up. She kills Ambrosia and takes her legs, right? And she shows up at Jeremy Sisto's place, and she meets his new woman, and she's like, nice earrings. So she's going for the ears there. So she ends up stabbing I don't know her name, Eden, I'll call her that, taking her ears, and then she stabs Jeremy Sisto and takes his hands, and then she kind of makes a Frankenstein monster. Oh, earlier on in this film, James Duval's character, I forgot to mention, they just randomly meet up on the street, and he's like, you want to get some jujubes with me? And she's like, okay. And then she takes him back to his apartment, and they're fine. He's like, oh, it's hot in here. He takes his shirt off, where he notices his arms. And I think she uses his chest, too, I think. But that don't make sense, because there wasn't anyone else. But she notices his arms, like his tattoo. Then he finds the cat in the freezer, and he freaks out, and then she kills him, takes his arms and torso area, I'm assuming. And then she uses the cat for the hair. I don't know. It's really weird. I don't know what else is in the head, though. I don't know. But, hold on. I'll get back to it. And so she amalgamates this Frankenstein monster of a person to be her new friend now, because everyone else, she thinks they betrayed her, but she starts freaking out because this thing which she named Amy, she just rearranges the ashtray pieces from May as Amy, puts it on the forehead, can't see her, so she stabs her freaking eye out with the scissors like this. She's like, which is the scene from the beginning was like, ah, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's what the beginning was. Don't worry, I didn't actually stab myself in the eyeball. I was holding it like this, so nothing, so nothing. So I was like this. The scissors weren't even near my eye. See? So you freaking, oh my god, no, it's not. It's cat dog. Oh my god. A kid. Anyway, so yeah, she cuts her own eye out, freaks the fuck out, and then puts it on there. And this is kind of funny because she lays there, and she's kind of laying there, and she sort of passes out. The eyeball rolls off and lands on her face. I don't know if that was meant to do that, and they just left it in because it's kind of funny. And then the hand comes over and just starts caressing her face, and the movie ends. And I'm like, wait, what? This is how you end the movie. This is how you end the movie. This what? What? Huh? It frustrated me a little bit. We have this big build-up for about an hour and 20 minutes of something's going to happen. And in the last 10, 15 minutes, stuff just starts to happen, and then the movie just ends. There is no conclusion to any other story in this. Like, does she bleed out? What is going on? How does that come to life? Is it in her head? Nothing. What happened to her parents? I don't know. There's really... No, I didn't hate this movie. I actually kind of liked it. But, I don't know. It was weird. I'm going to give it a middle of the road because I enjoyed it. Other people really love this movie. It just got thrown off. Maybe if I eventually buy this movie and I watch it more, I'll get into it more. I don't know. But I liked it for what it was, so it's the middle of the road for me. So what are your thoughts on May? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Here's the thing, though. A weird thing has been occurring with this Tubi Horror Weekend 5. The movies, I haven't really chosen the movies. They've been sort of presented to me at a certain point. So Alligator was first because I've wanted to see that movie since the 4K came out, but I don't have it anywhere near me, and it's like $30. I could get it, but I saw it was on Shout Factory TV app a while ago, and just haven't taken the plunge. And then I saw it was on Tubi, and for some reason I was like, okay, now I have to do it. So that's what it was. That. And then Benny Loves You was one that I saw that the Dead Meat did. I saw the kill count for it. And so I was like, okay, well, that has to be my next one. So, and those are only two that I really chose as, I really wanted to do. I was then watching Drum Dum's review of The Last Voyage of the Demeter, and he mentioned it was directed by Andre Overdahl, who did, he said, Troll Hunter, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and Autopsy of a Jane Doe. And I went, well, that's on Tubi. I'll do that one next. So I did that. And then I watched Foundflix's video and the explained video that he did for Autopsy of Jane Doe. And in that video was, on his shelf, was the Blu-ray for May. I was like, okay, that's telling me something. Because that's also on Tubi. So it's a message I have to do that one next. And so as I was watching the movie, I'm like, I wonder if I'll get any ideas of what the next one should be. Well, yeah, there's a scene in this where Jeremy Sisto, Adam, is talking to May, and he says that he has to go because he has to catch a movie. Oh, here it is. Here it is. What is it? Is it something that's going to be on Tubi? He says it's an Argento film. Argento. There's a few Argentos. And he said Trauma. And I'm like, that's on there. That's on there. So, I believe the next one I'm going to do is Trauma. Because, I don't know. It just, I have to do it now. And I'm not big on Italian horror. I really liked Profondo Rosso or Deep Red. Suspiria is okay for me. And maybe I'm just not a Fulci fan. Because the City of the Living Dead, or whatever it was that I watched. No. It wasn't. It was the one with the blind chick. That one. I forgot. The Beyond. I thought that one was just okay. But here we are. So we shall see. So until then, thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.